Well, let's move on then to Smallville, season 1, episode 14, and neatly this episode has been titled my score out of 10 for it. It's called Zero.
You know, this is one of the rare episodes where I saw the name and I know exactly which one. I don't need any other information.
Really, I didn't remember
Usually
this.
I'll get 2 minutes in, I'll go, okay, I know which one this is.
Yeah, I couldn't remember this one at all. I have no recollection of this episode.
Oh, I remember it for being that bad.
This is an episode where it's about this incident 3 years ago at a club, Club Zero, or was it Midnight Zero or something like that? Zero Consequences.
Zero.
Zero Consequences. Was that the full name of the club?
Oh, I don't know. People just call it because I know a few times they just say Club Zero.
That's fair. Anyway, so Club Zero, and Lex was there with a lady, and they go upstairs. We know she's engaged. We think, oh, Lex is being sly, but what he's actually doing is intentionally bringing her there because he knows that her fiance is cheating on her with two ladies, and she sees this, and the guy gets really upset. He's like, oh, this is you, Lex. You did this on purpose, and he comes to attack him.
He definitely did.
Yeah, of course he did it on purpose. He's Lex. We know how he works. He's manipulative, but at the same time, he's kind of doing.
It's not that bad. I mean,
no,
he's
it's a good
showing
reason.
her the truth.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, his real intentions might be a bit murky, but like, I can't argue that I would want her to know in situations.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. And you can't just tell her. You got to show it. You know, the proof, right?
So we see a version of this scene where the guy, the fiance, stabs Lex in the shoulder area, and then this bodyguard guy that Lex knows is there as well, and we see the fiance get shot. We actually see this scene another couple of times throughout the episode because the story keeps changing as to what happened, and then it changes later on, and Lex is the one who shoots him, and it's like, okay, all gets covered up. We actually see the corrupt cop from a few episodes ago, in this flashback, and he comes in and like, okay, so this is the story. You will never hear Lex, and he sort of clears everything up. And then the final time we see it, the actual twist is it was the woman, the Lex's friend, the fiance, who shoots him, and the entire plot turns out, because obviously in present day we see the guy who's supposed to be dead. He has Lex hanging upside down. He's tormenting him. He's sabotaging things. He's sending presents. The bodyguard dude, his hand shows up in a box as a present, and it's like, okay, so he's doing all this stuff to cause trouble, and we keep seeing the guy who's supposed to have died. It's like, oh, maybe there's some kryptonite reason, as usual on this show, why he's still alive or something. Who knows? But the actual revelation is that no, he's just a guy who looks a lot like the guy that died, and it's the brother of the woman who wants the revenge because she killed herself like a year ago because she was so guilty about what happened, and he blames Lex. But then obviously Lex reveals, no, it was her that shot him. It wasn't me. I just tried to help.
And that's why she's guilty.
Yeah, that's why I helped cover it up, because my dad wouldn't cover up for her, but he would for me. So I took the fall, and then it all get covered up.
Quite noble of him.
It's reasonably noble, yeah. It's almost quite nice, Alex. But I couldn't believe, she was like, oh yeah, I walked into this grill and found him, and I was like, oh, my luck. I'm like, really, that's what we're going with? He just found someone who looks so much like him.
I think I'd prefer the kryptonite bullshit explanation. At least that's just in keeping for the show, right?
In this case, I'd prefer it, absolutely. This was a convoluted mess of a plot. It was awful. The flashback scenes in the club were awful. It kept playing.
How much do you hate that song?
Yeah, that song, I hated it by the end. At one point, the bad guy actually puts a portable CD player underneath Lex's dashboard to play the song, and I actually laughed out loud when Clark used his X-ray vision and he just sees the disc spinning, and I went, "Oh man, that takes me back."
Yeah.
Play the music on a CD. My God, how far we've come.
I guess you can still do it in a cars. It's probably like the last bastion of CD players, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know by now that you just hook your phone up, Bluetooth, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like CD players are still common enough in cars that. I mean, I feel like tape cassettes lived a lot longer in cars.
They did,
because they were just there still.
But this is not the CD player in the car. This is a CD. This is a portable Discman strapped to the dashboard.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw someone with a Discman?
2003.
I might have had one after 2003.
I don't know. I'm guessing. Can't be far off that.
Probably not far off that, but I mean, the iPod wasn't for a few years later.
That's fair.
MP3 players did exist, but they were kind of like, I don't know. I remember like the one kid had one, and it was kind of weird. It was like, oh, how does this work?
Yeah, I had a shitty MP3 player. I mean, it wasn't shitty at the time. Don't get me wrong, but
I had one
by today's standards, very shitty.
My first one that I was all excited about, and I got like a can't remember the brand, but it was a proper like electronics brand. It wasn't like some unknown thing.
Yeah.
But for the storage was like really big versus like what you'd get with an iPod. But the damn piece of shit crashed all the time. It was a right mess.
I remember my first MP3 player was on like 128 meg.
Oh yeah, I never had one that small. I was always obsessed with the idea of getting my entire collection onto one device.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, because I got one quite early.
Yeah.
Like before the iPod was a big thing. So before all the competitors were there going, oh, we can do one. So my first one was 128 meg, and you got, I mean, because MP3s took up only a few meg at a time, so you got maybe 30 songs on it.
You know, I actually keep meaning to buy an SD card for my phone so I can just use that like an iPod, because like I hate having to use services and stuff. I like just having the collection's there.
Yeah, I just use Spotify, and because obviously I'm a chill.
But sometimes you have like weird things that aren't on Spotify, like, you know, specific versions of things that you've tracked down.
You do, but I feel like I have enough space on my phone for the odd thing here or there.
Nah, mine fills up so quick. Storage space is tiny. I need to get an SD card. After the graphics card.
I mean, they're pretty cheap.
They are pretty cheap. You can get a nice, like, you know, 20-something gig one for like really cheap. So.
Oh yeah.
And that's going really cheap. You can get a.
You know, it's funny, you know, on storage. I feel like it might have been on this show last week. We were discussing, you know, how
zip drives and shit.
Yeah, we were talking about floppies, right?
Yeah.
Is that this show?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because it was the bad guys had the disc from Lex.
You're right, yeah, and we were talking about, you know, there's the picture, like the stack of floppy disks, and then like just a USB stick.
Mm-hmm.
Why does no one ever just hold a micro SD card? Those things are tiny.
They are tiny, and
you get like shitload of space on them.
Yeah, those are like hundreds of gigabits now. Those tiny ones.
Oh yeah, I've got a 128 gig one.
Yeah, so you know.
And they're tiny. They're like fingernail sized. Screw a memory stick. I want one of them.
So anyway, what else is happening? So yeah, so Chloe's doing they get a class project to do like basically like a biography of another classmate, and they're all randomly assigned different, you know, people in the class, and Chloe ends up with Clark, but she's an investigative reporter.
He gets the shaft once again because he gets the character no one's heard of.
Yeah, so he gets the random off-screen person. And then Clark gets Lana, which honestly never actually factored into the plot that much. Like, he just says he did it off-screen. It doesn't actually matter that he got Lana.
Yeah, small mercies, right? I mean, there was no Lana at all in this episode, was there?
Oh, there was some. She was at the Talon, getting it ready.
But yeah, that's true. I forgot about that shit.
But
no kryptonite this episode.
That's true. No kryptonite. But we get scenes of Chloe looking into Clark and asking you know, Jonathan and Martha about how they adopted him, and it gets really awkward because they can't just say how they did it, because, you know, obviously it wasn't exactly the traditional method of going through the adoption agency. And Chloe digs into it a little bit, and there's some suspicious elements to the story, and Clark gets really upset with her, trying to get her to drop it, and she says she will, but of course the final shot of the episode is her again. This dialogue
delete
box,
or save.
Yeah, it's either delete or save is the options. I have never seen a computer word like processor of any kind give me those two options side by side like that, but whatever.
Yeah, no, it's always, so you close, you're about to close without saving. Do you want to save it, yes or no?
Yeah, it's
cancel.
You know, save yes or no or cancel. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever.
But, I mean, that's the thing. I thought Clark he reacts quite angrily, understandably. He's like, hey, because, you know, to him, you know, it just plays of, stop it, don't look into this. We can't be having you find out the truth. But I think it does play in scene, because it's like, hey, I don't want to know who my parents are. I've clearly not looked into this.
Basically,
you shouldn't be looking into
it's a personal thing, and I think in a normal context he has the right to be a little annoyed and like say, no, I don't want you to look into this, I don't want to know this stuff, leave it alone. Yeah. I think that works. Like, it doesn't
Which is why I think it is a proper dick move for her to save it at the end, right?
Yeah, it just kind of shows that she can't let things drop. Now she doesn't find out though until, if I remember right, season 4. So
Yeah, she finds out a couple of times and forgets.
I'm not counting those. I'm counting the proper. She finds out and that's not for the rest of the
it's
show.
a while. Maybe season 3.
No, I'm sure it's 4. It's after Pete leaves.
Right. Okay. Because Lana's 5.
Sure.
Yeah. I think.
I'll take your word for it.
Is that just one of the ones where she forgets as well? I don't know. It all blurs together.
I don't remember Lana finding out. I just remember that when she comes back briefly, much later on, he has to stay away from her because she becomes like kryptonite becomes part of her.
Yeah,
and she has powers as well, but they can't be together because if he gets close to her, he's in pain.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the 100th episode.
Oh yeah, that's the one where time rewrites. He goes back in time and changes things. He pulls a flashpoint. It says, no, not quite a flashpoint.
He does a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he do that again? Was that like a Mixie thing? No, it wasn't Mixie. Mixie was like earlier than that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. We'll get there one day.
We'll worry about that in like 2 years.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a dick move from Chloe. Mostly though, the episode is like
does nothing.
Pete does nothing. There's a lot of things. Like one of the things that the villain does is he puts toxins all over the Kent farm where all the cows are, so all the cows die. And Jonathan.
Which, speaking of, they do have cows, because I remember having this debate a few episodes ago whether or not they were just crops. I was like, I'm sure they got cows.
Okay,
the whole herd. I mean, they did have a whole herd of them.
They did. Don't anymore. I'm right now.
You are temporarily correct.
But yeah, so Jonathan looks heartbroken and really upset, and Lex offers to, I'll find out who did this. Also, I'll pay for all the cattle you've lost. And he goes, money. Do you think money solves everything?
Yeah, I feel like Lex gets the short end of the straw this episode because he doesn't do anything wrong all episode.
He doesn't. No.
Like this here, he's James. Like, look, I don't know what happened. It's clearly something to get back at me. I'll cover it. I'll do everything I can.
That's it.
He's really genuine.
When the bad guy or the lookalike bad guy goes to Lana for the job application, and it's just like a sort of warning, and he says, "Oh, hey, that Lex Luthor, you might not want to trust him. Anyone who gets close to him, ends up bad." And all I could think was, but nothing in this episode actually is Lex's fault. I mean, we know he's going to be dangerous later. We know that he does have skeletons, but nothing in this episode actually points to any of that. So
I feel bad for it. He's an upstanding, genuine man all episode. We were talking about in the flashback. He was showing the woman that she was being cheated on. He took the fall for her so it would get covered up and her life wouldn't get ruined. Here he's still trying to support the Talon because reasons. Yeah.
When LexCorp toxins kill all the cows, he's like, "I'll get to the bottom of this. Obviously, I'll pay for every penny you're losing out of this."
Yeah, I'll sort the whole thing out.
And Jonathan's like, "Oh, you think money will cover this?" And then
he gets trussed up instead. Hung upside down and then threatened.
Poor Lex.
Oh yeah.
Poor Lex. That's all I'm saying.
He didn't deserve it. I mean, not this episode. He didn't deserve it.
No.
Normally he does, but this time, no. It was all right.